The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, but Sam barely noticed. His arms felt like heavy weights, stretched taut by the handles of two overflowing grocery bags. Each step he took brought a dull ache to his shoulders, and the plastic handles dug into his palms. He had bought enough food to last him a week, maybe two, and now he regretted not taking a taxi. The bus ride home had been bad enough, but the real challenge lay ahead, 3 flights of stairs to his apartment. He imagined the climb, each step a small Everest. His building didn't have an elevator, a detail that usually didn't bother him, but tonight it felt like a cruel joke. He shifted the bags, trying to find a more comfortable grip, but it was no use. The milk carton clinked against a jar of pickles, and a bag of apples threatened to roll out. He sighed, a weary sound that escaped his lips before he could stop it. The thought of collapsing on his couch, a warm cup of tea in hand, was the only thing keeping him going. As he finally reached the entrance of his apartment building, a small wave of dread washed over him. He pushed the heavy glass door open with his elbow, grunting softly as he squeezed through. The cool air of the hallway offered little comfort. He looked up the stairwell, a long, winding path that seemed to stretch into the heavens. Each step was worn smooth from countless feet, a silent testament to the many journeys up and down. He took a deep breath, trying to summon the strength he knew he would need. This was going to be a long climb, and he wished, for just a moment, that someone would magically appear to help him. Just as Sam braced himself for the first step, a door across the hall creaked open. He looked up, his face still etched with fatigue, to see Adrian stepping out of his apartment. Adrian was holding a small watering can, heading towards the potted plant by his door, but he stopped when he saw Sam. A warm, friendly smile spread across Adrian's face, making his eyes crinkle at the corners. "Rough day, Sam?" Adrian asked, his voice gentle and kind. He took in Sam's hunched shoulders and the straining plastic bags. Without waiting for a reply, Adrian quickly put down his watering can and walked over to Sam. "Here, let me help you with those," he offered, reaching for one of the heavy bags. Sam was so surprised and relieved he could only manage a grateful nod. "Oh, Adrian, you're a lifesaver," he mumbled, a small blush rising on his cheeks. He felt a little embarrassed to be caught looking so worn out, but Adrian's easygoing manner made it less awkward. Adrian took the heavier of the 2 bags, his grip strong and sure. The immediate relief in Sam's arm was immense, like a tight spring finally unwinding. Adrian flashed another smile, this one a bit more playful. "What are neighbors for, right?" he said, already turning towards the stairs. "Lead the way, Sam. Let's get these groceries to their rightful home." A wave of warmth spread through Sam. Adrian was always like this, thoughtful, observant, and quick to help. Sam had always admired Adrian's easy charm and friendly nature, but he never expected such a timely rescue. With Adrian by his side, the daunting climb suddenly seemed a little less impossible and a lot less lonely. He pushed aside the lingering tiredness and felt a lighter spring in his step as he started up the stairs, Adrian following close behind. With Adrian taking the brunt of the weight, the first flight of stairs felt much less daunting. Their footsteps fell into a comfortable rhythm, thump, 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 punctuated by the soft rustle of the grocery bags. Sam found himself able to breathe easier, his shoulders not quite so tight. "So what's for dinner tonight, Sam?" Adrian asked, his voice light and cheerful, breaking the quiet of their ascent. He glanced over at Sam, a friendly spark in his eyes. Sam chuckled, a genuine laugh that felt good after his earlier struggles. "Well, I was planning on a quick pasta dish, but now I'm thinking anything that doesn't involve heavy lifting to prepare," he replied, a grin forming on his face. "What about you? Are you making anything exciting?" "Maybe something simple," Adrian mused, his brow furrowing playfully. "I'm not much of a cook, really, more of a heat-it-up-and-eat-it kind of guy." They continued their climb, the conversation flowing easily between them. They talked about their workdays, the unusually warm weather for this time of year, and a funny show Adrian had watched last night. Each topic was light, helping to make the arduous task feel almost pleasant. The second flight of stairs passed in a similar way, the steady beat of their shoes on the steps, and the gentle crinkle of the bags creating a comforting backdrop to their chat. Sam noticed the subtle scent of Adrian's laundry detergent, fresh and clean, as he walked beside him. It was a small detail, but it added to the unexpected intimacy of the moment. He felt a quiet joy in this shared chore, a simple connection that brightened his evening. The third flight began, and Sam realized they were almost there. He actually felt a little sad that their shared journey was coming to an end. Finally, they reached the top landing, a small shared space that felt remarkably welcoming after their climb. Sam fumbled for his keys, his hand shaking just a little from the lingering fatigue, despite Adrian's help. He found the right key, slid it into the lock, and turned the handle with a soft click. The door swung open, revealing the familiar comfort of his apartment. "Almost there," Sam said, stepping inside. Adrian followed, holding the heavy grocery bag with practiced ease. Sam led the way through the small entryway, past a coat rack and a stack of mail, directly into the cozy living room that led into his small kitchen. Adrian surveyed the space with a friendly nod. "Where do you want these?" he asked, his voice still cheerful. "Just by the counter, please," Sam replied, pointing to an empty spot next to his sink. Adrian walked over and with surprising care lowered the large bag to the floor. The plastic rustled softly as it settled, the contents shifting slightly but remaining intact. He then straightened up, giving a small stretch to his shoulders. Sam, who had already set his own lighter bag down, watched Adrian. He felt a rush of gratitude, a warmth spreading through him. Adrian hadn't just helped, he had done so with a genuine kindness that made the simple act feel special. The apartment felt a little brighter, a little less empty with Adrian there. The air still carried the faint scent of Adrian's clean laundry, now mixed with the subtle aroma of Sam's kitchen. It was a pleasant blend, a small domestic moment shared between neighbors. Sam turned fully to face Adrian, ready to express his thanks. Sam turned to Adrian, a genuine smile spreading across his face. "Thank you, Adrian," he said, his voice soft but heartfelt. "Seriously, you have no idea how much I appreciate that. Those bags were absolutely killing me." A warm flush crept up his neck and settled on his cheeks. He wasn't sure if it was from the exertion of the stairs or Adrian's close presence, but he felt a distinct blush rise. Adrian simply smiled back, a comfortable, easy smile that reached his eyes. "Anytime, Sam," he replied, his voice gentle. "It looked like you could use a hand, no big deal." He paused, his gaze lingering on Sam's face for just a beat longer than usual. The air between them, already comfortable, suddenly felt a little different, charged with a quiet electricity. Sam found himself unable to look away, drawn in by Adrian's kind eyes. He noticed the slight crinkles around them, the way his dark hair fell boyishly across his forehead. There was something about Adrian, a quiet strength mixed with a friendly warmth, that Sam had always found appealing. In this small, shared space of his apartment, with the groceries sitting quietly on the floor, the moment felt more personal than just a simple neighborly exchange. He swallowed, feeling his heart give a little flutter. "Still," Sam insisted, wanting to convey the true depth of his gratitude, "it really helped. I was dreading those stairs." He gestured vaguely towards the hallway, a slight chuckle escaping him. The blush on his cheeks deepened, and he hoped Adrian didn't notice how flustered he suddenly felt. He wasn't usually this easily flustered, but Adrian had a way of making him feel seen. As Sam finished speaking, still feeling the heat in his cheeks, Adrian took a small step closer. His gaze was still locked with Sam's, but a new, soft look entered his eyes. Then very gently, Adrian reached out and placed his hand on Sam's shoulder. It wasn't a forceful touch, but a tender, hesitant one, like he was testing the waters. Sam's breath hitched. The casual warmth of Adrian's palm seeped through his shirt, sending a shiver down his spine. His heart, already doing a little dance, began to beat faster. He didn't move, couldn't move, mesmerized by the intensity in Adrian's gaze. The air in the small kitchen seemed to thicken, filled with unspoken words and a sudden, undeniable tension. Adrian's thumb brushed lightly against the fabric of Sam's shirt, a small, almost imperceptible movement that felt huge. Then slowly his hand slid from Sam's shoulder, moving upwards. It didn't leave Sam's side, but instead, Adrian's fingers curled around the curve of Sam's neck, his touch feather-light. Sam leaned back a fraction, his back gently meeting the cool surface of the wall behind him. The wall offered a solid anchor in a moment that felt suddenly dizzying. Adrian's hand continued its slow journey, finally resting flat against the wall just beside Sam's head. His arm was now bent, creating a gentle barrier, subtly boxing Sam in. It wasn't threatening, but rather a soft, intentional press that felt incredibly intimate. Sam's eyes widened slightly, a mix of surprise and a thrilling anticipation swirling within him. He could feel Adrian's warmth, smell his fresh scent, and his mind raced, trying to understand what was happening. Everything else faded away, leaving only Adrian, his hand on the wall and the silent question in his eyes. Adrian's eyes, usually so easy and light, were now serious, though Sam could see a flicker of nervousness in their depths. His jaw was set, a determined line, as if he had made a big decision and was now seeing it through. He leaned in just a little closer, his gaze never leaving Sam's. The space between them shrank, filled with the quiet hum of the refrigerator and the frantic beat of Sam's own heart. Then Adrian spoke, his voice a low murmur, softer than Sam had ever heard it. "Sam," he began, and then he paused, taking a small breath. I've been wanting to do this for a long time." The words hung in the air, a confession that both surprised and thrilled Sam. A long time. Had Adrian felt this too, this strange, simmering awareness that Sam had tried to ignore? Sam's mind raced, trying to make sense of the sudden shift, the raw honesty in Adrian's voice. His earlier blush deepened, spreading across his whole face down to his chest. He felt both vulnerable and incredibly alive, pinned against the wall not by force, but by the sheer weight of Adrian's unspoken feelings. Adrian's eyes searched Sam's, seeking an answer, a sign. There was a mix of hope and fear in his gaze, making him seem both strong and fragile at the same time. Sam could feel the warmth of Adrian's hand on the wall next to him, a constant, comforting pressure. He didn't know what to say, his throat suddenly dry, but he knew, deep down, that he didn't want Adrian to pull away. This was real, this unexpected, thrilling moment. He just looked back at Adrian, letting his own confusion and desire show in his eyes. Adrian's words, "I've been wanting to do this for a long time," echoed in Sam's ears, sending a powerful jolt through him. It was a surprise, yes, but not an unwelcome one. More like the sudden, thrilling drop of a roller coaster, a rush of pure excitement mixed with a dizzying sense of disbelief. His breath caught in his throat, a small, involuntary gasp that only Adrian could have heard in the quiet kitchen. Every fiber of Sam's being felt alive, buzzing with an energy he hadn't known was possible. His heart hammered against his ribs, a frantic drumbeat that seemed to fill the whole room. He felt a warmth spread through him, not just the blush of embarrassment, but a deeper, more profound heat that started in his chest and spread outwards, making his skin tingle. As Adrian leaned in closer, his face drawing nearer to Sam's, all thoughts of groceries, stares, and even Adrian's earlier helpfulness vanished. There was only Adrian's determined gaze, the soft scent of his clean laundry, and the overwhelming feeling that something important was about to happen. Sam's eyes fluttered, then widened, trying to take in every detail of Adrian's approaching face. He could see the slight freckles on Adrian's nose, the way his dark eyelashes framed his eyes, the almost imperceptible tremor in his lips. He wanted to speak, to ask, to confirm, but no words would come. His throat felt tight, and his mind was a whirlwind of emotions. This was Adrian, his kind, charming neighbor, and he was leaning in, with a look in his eyes that Sam had only ever dreamed of. The surprise was still there, but it was quickly being overshadowed by an exhilarating thrill, a wild, soaring happiness that made him feel lightheaded. He closed his eyes for a brief second, bracing himself, and then opened them again, ready for whatever came next. Then softly, gently, Adrian's lips met Sam's. It was a tentative kiss, a hesitant brush that felt like a question more than a demand. Sam felt the soft pressure, the warmth, and a wave of something deep and powerful washed over him. It was a kiss filled with all the unspoken feelings that had been bubbling beneath the surface. A sudden release of hidden attraction that had been building between them without either of them truly acknowledging it. Sam's eyes fluttered shut, his body responding before his mind could fully catch up. The world around them faded, leaving only the sensation of Adrian's lips on his own. It was a sweet, tender kiss, not rushed or forceful but slow and exploring. He could taste Adrian, a subtle hint of coffee and something uniquely Adrian, clean and comforting. His heart pounded a frantic rhythm, but it was no longer from fear or surprise. It was pure, exhilarating joy. This was it, the moment he hadn't dared to dream of, the quiet longing he had pushed away. Adrian's hand on the wall beside his head felt like an anchor, keeping him grounded while his mind soared. He felt a deep, profound connection in that small, shared touch, a rush of understanding that made everything click into place. The kiss deepened almost imperceptibly, a soft sigh escaping Sam's lips. He could feel Adrian's breath, warm and soft against his skin. It was more than just a kiss, it was a conversation, a silent promise, a brave step into something new and wonderful. The domestic intimacy of his kitchen, with the groceries still sitting by the counter, became the backdrop for a surprising and beautiful moment. Sam felt a delicious shiver run through him, a mixture of anticipation and pure, blissful surrender. He wanted more, much more. The initial surprise of the kiss gave way to a deeper, more profound feeling. Sam felt a delicious warmth spread through him, melting away any last trace of resistance. He had been holding his breath, but now a soft sigh escaped him, and he leaned into Adrian's touch, giving himself over to the wonderful feeling that hummed between them. His hands, which had been hanging uselessly at his sides, now rose slowly, finding purchase on Adrian's waist. He didn't pull Adrian closer, but simply rested them there, a silent acceptance. The kiss deepened, no longer tentative, but still soft and full of unspoken promises. Adrian's lips moved gently against his, a tender exploration that sent shivers of pleasure through Sam. It felt right, incredibly, wonderfully right. All the years of polite, neighborly exchanges, the small smiles and friendly waves, now made perfect sense. There had always been something there, a quiet pull, a hidden spark that had finally ignited. Sam felt his body relax against the wall, finding comfort in the solid support and in Adrian's close presence. He returned the kiss with a newfound eagerness, letting all his own secret longings pour into the moment. It was a kiss of discovery, of longing, and of pure, unadulterated happiness. He could feel the soft brush of Adrian's stubble against his skin, the warmth of his breath, the subtle shift of Adrian's weight as he leaned in. In that small kitchen, surrounded by the ordinary things of his life, the groceries, the faded wallpaper, the hum of the refrigerator, something truly extraordinary was happening. Sam had given in, utterly and completely, to the rush of hidden attraction, and it felt like coming home. He never wanted this moment to end.